also recording this on MyInfo. So if you'd like to use this video or audio in any of your websites or content, you may download it and use it after the conclusion of the press conference. Let's bring out the 3 medalists in the women's 200 meters. All right. Winning the 4th consecutive bronze medal for the United States of America with a time of 22.20, Brittany Brown. The 100-meter gold medalist is the 200-meter silver medalist from St. Lucia with a time of 22.08, Julian Elfred. And claiming her 3rd Olympic medal, but first gold for the United States since Allison Felix did it in 2012 with a time of 21.83, Gabby Thomas. All right, we will now open up the floor for questioning. If you have a question, please raise your hand and we'll bring a mic to you. Please state your name and your outlet before you ask your question. Questions for the 200 meters. Let's start in the back with Sean.
Congratulations, Gabby, Sean and Guardian. How did it feel when you had the pressure on you after Sharika pulled out? Did you sort of feel that pressure, and how did you cope with that? And at what point did you think, this is mine? You know, was it 20 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago, or did you have to wait right to the line?
I think that I have been doing really well in the 200 meters all season, so I wouldn't say that I was relieved when Sharika pulled out. I wished her all the best, and it's unfortunate that you can't have your reigning world champion competing, but I was confident before that, and I was confident going into the race. I did not realize that I had won this race until I crossed the line. I knew that I was going to have to execute into the finish. I have an Olympic champion in the lane right next to me. I had Brittany, who got second in our trials, right next to me, so the race wasn't over until it was over, and that's how it went.
Next question. Right here. Can you bring the mic right here? Right here. Martine. He's down here. It's very bright lights.
Hi, Jack Rathborne from The Independent. Some question for Julian. Just wanted to ask you about the reaction you received since the 100 back in St. Lucia and Castries. It's been incredible support. What do you think your legacy will be there, and what do you hope it will achieve in the years to come?
Just watching a few reaction videos. The reaction has been really good so far, and I'm really hoping that what I did at my first Olympic Games can also inspire the youth in St. Lucia and also encourage the government to also invest in the sport. I'm just really hoping that we can have many more athletes come on this stage. I'm hoping that what I did in the past 5 days can really inspire the people back home to do better in the sport.
Do we have a question in the back? I think I saw somebody. Oh, right here. There we go. Just put your hand up again so she can see you. There you go.
You call on them. Hi, Rob Moore from The Sun. Gabby, are you ready for how your life is going to change now? You're an Olympic champion, carries a different weight. And obviously we've spoken to Noah Lyles about how he wants to use his platform in America. What do you want to do, given that you've now got the gold medal?
Oh gosh, I haven't thought about how my life is going to change. I didn't want to think about that going into the race because it is very overwhelming to think about. So far, it's really just been keeping your head down and doing what I've been doing for the last few years to get to this moment. So I'm going to continue to do that because I'd love to continue to succeed in the sport. That being said, my vision for myself is along the same lines of Julian here. I want to inspire the youth to continue to find their passions and be successful. I want young girls to look at us as strong female athletes and feel like they can do it too. I want them to feel like they're encouraged to go into professional sports. I want them to feel encouraged to pursue their dreams, no matter how big or small. And I hope when they look at me and they see what I do, they're inspired to work hard. They're inspired to be kind to people and to give back to their communities when they can. And if I can leave that message with the world, then I've done my job. And of course, I'd love to continue to do well on the track.
Brittany, the U.S. sort of has permanent residency with this bronze medal position. The last 4 bronze medalists have been Americans. Can you talk about what it feels like to join that list of some of the greatest American sprinters of all time?
It feels amazing to be around these women, to be a part of this class of women in the U.S. It's something that, you know, you aspire to be when you're growing up and you see Allison Felix, you see Carmelita, like, you know, you want to be that. So to be a part of that now is a refreshing feeling. It feels something like a new venture that I get to embark on and be a part of. And I'm just excited to be a part, to be in community, to be hand in hand with these women, to say I'm one of them. So yeah.
Do you have a question over here? Or was it you, Uli? Can you raise your hand, please?
Hi, sorry, I'm way back here. Nick McCarville, Olympics.com. Gabby, it seemed like you let the emotion sort of carry you when you did realize that you had won. How different was this atmosphere tonight and versus Tokyo, and what were those emotions that you let kind of take over and let us in on that experience? Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I envisioned this race over and over from start to finish. I haven't been envisioning it ever since I made the team back in June. And I was not prepared for how I was going to feel when I crossed the line as an Olympic champion. There's no way to really prepare yourself for that. Tokyo Olympics was a lot of fun, and it was great for me to experience that before coming here. But there is nothing like walking into a stadium of 80,000 people and they're screaming and they're right on top of you. That is a lot of pressure to put on someone and a lot of pressure for us to kind of deal with. So it was definitely very different, but it made it a lot more special when I crossed the line as a champion because I got to share that experience with everyone. I got to hear the crowd roar, and I knew that all of my friends and family in my community was behind me. So that feeling was indescribable. I'm sure Julian can relate too. I mean, so many emotions all at once. I could not have anticipated what my reaction would have been. It was just so many emotions flooding me, just happiness, joy, pride, disbelief, shock, all at once. And it was the happiest moment of my life.
In the striped shirt there? No, right up top in the striped shirt. Or, okay, you can go.
Hi, Tara Sullivan from the Boston Globe. Gabby, if you could reflect for a moment on like kind of when you went off to college, the runner who went to Harvard originally, what would you tell her now, or can you even imagine where you were then and where you are now?
I could never have imagined that I would be an Olympic medalist or even a gold medalist when I went off to Harvard to run track. I would tell myself to keep believing in myself and do what you love, as I would tell any young girl who's going into any part of their life or going to college. I believe what got me to this point was my growing love for the sport. It was my personal growth. And I think Harvard was a great foundation for me. It laid the groundwork for me to be here now. It was just an organic journey for me, and I would encourage anyone to do it that way. Just go where you're comfortable, go where you can grow, go where you're happy, and you will be successful.
Stephanie Apstein from Sports Illustrated. This is also for Gabby. You, even as recently as like a month ago, you were talking about how going into Tokyo, it was sort of all upside because nobody really had any expectations of you, but you were going to have to manage having kind of a target on your back here. How did you feel like you managed it emotionally? Obviously, the results were pretty good, but leading into, an hour ago, how did you feel like you were managing that expectation?
Yeah, it's very different. It's a lot more fun to run when people aren't expecting things of you, that's for sure. It's a win-win. If you do well, then great, but if you don't do well, hey, you had the experience. Coming off of the Tokyo Olympics, my life had definitely changed. In every race that I ran, there were a lot of eyeballs on me. There were a lot of expectations, and that was definitely a lot more pressure. And I had to adapt, and that's what all of the best athletes do. That's what all of the greats do. You're forced to adapt when you're faced with a new challenge, and the reason why we're sitting here today is because we're able to do that. And so I did adapt, and every time I went to a race, it got bigger and bigger. World Championships was a bigger race in Tokyo because there were a lot of people there. I had never experienced that before, but it prepared me for this race. And I remember thinking, I don't know how people can deal with the amount of pressure that we're about to put on ourselves as athletes here at the Paris Olympics. There are so many people in the stands. This is a new age of social media where everyone's watching us and have immediate commentary. And I was like, I don't know how we're going to do this, but you kind of have to just step up to the plate and do it. And that's what separates good athletes from great athletes.
Gabby, Sean Gregory from Time. As I understand it, you know, your mom had to kind of prod you into running when you were earlier. When did you kind of first fall in love with track? I think it might have been your junior year of high school or so, but you just, for the record, when did you kind of flip the switch that you wanted to do this? And when you did first start doing it, did you ever think you'd be here after hating the sport for a while?
Absolutely not. So yeah, my mom did heavily encourage, almost forced me into it when I was in high school because she knew I was fast. I grew up playing other sports like soccer. I set goals for myself starting around my junior year, and I fell in love with achieving those goals and pushing myself and going after it. And track and field is a perfect sport for that because it is a perfect equation of you get in what you put out, or you get, what you put into it. I loved it in high school. I went through a little bit of a period in college where I fell out of love with it because it was very, very hard. But I fell back in love with the sport. My junior year of college went really well for me, and that's when I decided to go pro. And then I just grew an even deeper love for it. Every challenge that I had, I overcame, and it's a really addicting feeling. And I'm still in that process. Why did you like it? What did I not like about it?
You're good.
You know, track is not exactly a fun activity in itself. You're literally running, and it's hard and it's painful. And so when I wasn't finding things to love about it or setting goals for myself, it was hard to enjoy it. But I found the beauty in it. I found the love in it. I just love chasing goals. I love chasing my dreams. I love moments like this where everything kind of comes together.
We've got time for two more. Right there, Weldon.
Hi, Weldon Johnson, Let'sRun.com. You talked about chasing goals, chasing dreams. Well, now you're the Olympic champion. So what dreams are still out there?
I was wondering that. I tried not to get ahead of myself before this race, but I thought, okay, if I get an Olympic gold medal today, what's next for me? Because I've accomplished almost everything that I've wanted to do up until this point. I got my undergraduate degree in neurobiology at Harvard, which was my dream. I went and got my master's in public health, and now I'm an Olympic champion. I don't know what's next, and I will figure that out, but for now, I'm just really enjoying where I'm at.
And last question right here. No, right there.
Hi, Denise, the Players Tribune. Gabby, you talked about all the hard work that's gone into this moment in these past 3 years. Was there a time where you didn't know if you would get here, and would you like to share?
Yeah, absolutely. There are so many points like that. I mean, running track in college, there were many times where I thought I would quit. There were many times where I wanted my life to go in a different direction. When I went pro, growing pains of joining a professional training group are real. There are a lot of egos. There are just a lot of moving parts, a lot of things going on. I didn't think that I was going to be cut out for it. I told my agents I'm out and I'm done. I wrote an email. I said I'm done running professionally and I'm going to go pursue other endeavors with my life. But it's part of overcoming the challenges. And I think I'm at a point where, I'm committed. I love what I do right now and I'm sticking with it. But there are absolutely moments where I've had those doubts.
Brittany Brown, Julian Alfred, Gabby Thomas, the podium for the women's 200 meters. Thank you and congratulations. We can now stop the stream. We'll give you an update on the next press conference in just a moment.